Good morning, cryptocurrency universe. Hope you guys are doing well. It's the Bitcoin miner here. Well, I had a question this morning from Harvey. How much do you think Bitcoin needs to be worth around the next halving 2020 in order for Bitcoin mining to remain profitable? That's actually a very good question, and I started trying to think to myself, how would I possibly figure that out? There's a lot of variables and a lot of things to really consider. But I'm going to actually go ahead and take a stab at it. Thought I'd make a quick video at doing so. As you see, I actually came up with a new logo. I've been snowed in, had some time to catch up on the channel and try to answer some questions. And I appreciate all the comments, guys. I try to read everything. Thank you very much. The donations that have come in as well over the last couple of months, I very much so appreciate them. I am totally trying to stay on board and keep the community alive. And there's so many big dreams and stuff I've been thinking about and stuff I want to try to implement with this channel. I just trying to find the time and try to set up. But I got a new logo. I hope you guys like it. And I tried. It's the best thing I came up with. If you guys have any other ideas or suggestions, hey, let me know. Put it on Imgur or something. Link it down below. I'm open to ideas as well. But this is the best I can come up with personally. So now let's bring up a Bitcoin difficulty and go back to the question at hand. So this is going to be a very difficult question. One, you have power cost, and two, you have the difficulty rate. And it's very difficult to know what and how the difficulty is going to go up or down. This is just a 9-month chart we're looking at. You can see how it goes up, it goes down a little bit, up and down. So I'll take a quick stab at this, and we'll see what comes up with it. I have not pre-done this. I'm going to do it live with you guys as I'm recording. So let's just assume power is going to stay the same. Anywhere from 8 cents a kilowatt all the way up to probably 16 cents a kilowatt. The national average, I think, in the United States is 12 cents a kilowatt. Anything really under 12 cents a kilowatt is pretty golden. So let's see. Here's the difficulty chart. These numbers are big. That would be 4 million. So I'm guessing this is 2 billion. Yeah, I have to double check that, but I think that's 2 billion. So let's see if we can find December 2015. Here we go. Here's December 2015 right here. So we were at 743 million at that point in time. So if we were to double, that would put us at 1.5 billion, which was right in here, which is the June-July rating. And that's actually when they came out with the new S7. So the S7s really started hitting the market right in this range. So when the S7s hit, we went from 7 and doubled to 1.5 into the July range. So if we were to double that again, that would put us at 3, but we're not. So that would give us a 4 times fold. So a 3 times fold would be 7.5 times 3, which would actually put us right here, which would be about 2 billion and a quarter, which is right where we're at in December. So, okay, so this year it did a triple fold. The hash rate went up 3 times from what it was a year ago. And there's a lot of factors to consider. The processors, the size of the processors, the efficiency of the processors. We're at 14 nanometers right now. I don't know if the next ones coming out are going to be 12 or if they're going to be 10. 10 is actually the smallest we can go, except for IBM's newest silica that they just invented about 6 months ago, and that's not expected to hit mainstream until about 10 years, and that will be IBM producing it. So in order to go lower than 10 nanometers, you literally have to create a whole new substructure along with other protocols, and actually IBM has already done so. But no other people that I'm familiar with, Intel has successfully completed it as well. So we've got to keep that in mind in jumps and how many people are buying miners and how popular it's growing. So we did a 3 times fold last year. Let's see if we can try to get some info. So they don't go all the way back 2 years, but what we can do is do 6 months, which will put us to July. Okay, so the year prior, you've got about a double. Yeah, it went up twice as much in 6 months. So the year prior went up about 4 times. Now that you have to remember, the first processors and stuff and the miners that were coming out were, I think, 50 some nanometers. I know the ones prior, the S5s, were 28 nanometers, the actual processors. So they went from 28 nanometers down to 14 nanometers, so it was a big jump. So we got a 4 times fold roughly for the year prior. We've got a 3 times fold for the actual last year. We've got one more big jump coming. Okay, so let's see. I would assume we're at 2017 right now. We've got about 3.5 years remaining. So if you take the 3.5 years, I'm going to say we'll get triple the difficulty next year. And then I'm going to say it's going to make double the difficulty because of the restrictions on the hardware for 2017. So we've got, if we triple the difficulty, let's try to simplify this a little bit. This is the current difficulty right here. Do we have a calculator on this computer? Okay, I found a calculator. So I'm going to have to manually enter this in. 317688400 354. So the first year, I believe we're going to get a triple increase just like we did last year. So let's times that by 3. So 1 year from today, first to next year, I think the difficulty would be around there. So now that would be 2018. 2019, I think we would have a twice difficulty change. And now 2020, I think we'll also have a twice difficulty change. Oops. Times 2. Okay. So I believe this would be the difficulty 1 year from now. The difficulty 2 years from now, which would be 2018, oops, 2019, and 2020. But we have to realize it's another 6 months. So let's go ahead and times this by well, if we times it by 1, it would give us the same number. Huh. Let's do this. Times 0.50. Now let's take that number and add it to the 3812260804248. Wow. Okay. So I believe the next halving in 2020, just using rough math as you guys saw, we could be somewhere right between whatever this is, 400 billion trillion. I think that's trillion actually. I think that's almost 4 trillion, close to 5.7 trillion. So let's take this number and go to a difficulty, or go to a calculator. Bitcoin mining calculator. Whatever. This one's got a bunch of ads, but we'll use it. Can't stand all these ads, but it will work. So what we need to do is we need to take this number out. And put this number in. Oh, the ads on here. Okay, so let's see. Aw. Whatever, I'll put it on my side screen. Okay, so it was 5, 7, 1, 8, 3, 9, 1, 2, 0, 6, 3, 7, 2 would be the new difficulty. This power watt should be 1300, and if you're using a new S9, you should be able to produce about 12,000. Calculate. Okay, so we changed the difficulty. We left the block reward the same. So this should be right before the halving. Wow. So there, an S9 right before the halving in 2020 will only make you 50 cents a day, but you're going to lose because of the power. I don't even want to fathom where they're going to have the electronics at that point in time, but the answer to the question, in order to be profitable, we do need to actually take a stab at where we think the process, or where the miners are going to be. So let's just say they go to 10 nanometers, which would, and they'll probably, like they usually do, is a triple fold. They like to make it 3 times more powerful, a little less. So let's just say they go for 2 times more powerful. You know, they've got what? They're 14 terahash, so you could probably be at a single machine, could be at 28 terahash. So let's take a stab at that, and let's change this to 28 terahash. And remember, I left the price at $911 down there at the bottom. So it's going to depend a lot on what's out there. So I just changed the terahash to 28 terahash, which is about doubling what the Antminer S9 is, for the same wattage, using the power cost of 10 cents, and I left the Bitcoin price at $911. So even the new machines wouldn't be producing. They're in the negative. So let's just try this. Let's start playing with this math a little bit. Let's take this and plug in $3,000. So the new machine at that time could be producing, that's if we're at 28.5 terahash for 1,300 watts. It's got to be higher than that, because even if you look at the daily rate, you're only going to make $3 and something a cent. People aren't going to sell for that. Let's try this mysterious 10,000 that people keep talking about. I'm not sure. I think 5 is doable. Let's see what 10 is. There you go. There's your $10 a day profit. And that's what we're at now. That's what people are, why they're interested in mining and doing stuff. So, the next halving, just prior to the next halving, we could be at $10,000. Now, this is going to go cut in half, so this is going to go to 2.5, and this is going to go to 6. Calculate. So, even at that halving, the newest machines out, unless they come up with a new substructure, the smallest they're going to be able to go is the 10 nanometers. And I don't see IBM, I don't see them getting IBM's new substructure that soon. They said commercial application use would be hitting in 10 years or so. We're not even talking about home use for these chips yet. I'm sure they said 5 years for like mainstream commercial application use. So that would be right around this time. I don't see this being out yet. I think not before the halving. I think it could come up a few years after the halving. The new, and by the way, it only goes to 8. No, excuse me, it goes to 7 nanometers. I'd have to double check if it's 8 or 7, but it's one of those two is what IBM created a new substructure for. So even after the halving, so $10,000 of Bitcoin, I think this is easy. $10,000 of Bitcoin. Let's see. Let's change this to $20,000 of Bitcoin. Which takes you back up to the $10 a day. So, my prediction based on the base math that I just did is $10,000 the early part of 2020. So between now and then, we should have no problem reaching the $10,000 point over the next 3.5 years. I see Bitcoin easily getting to $10,000, if not higher, based on adaptation. And there's so many variables to think about. How many people in the world want a Bitcoin? So it's not just the mining profitability. It's how many people actually want it. And the more they want it, the higher this difficulty rate can even go up even faster than what I'm anticipating for. So I think, and basically everything I've been doing is very conservative numbers. So I would say these are numbers on low. This is only saying that we've got the same growth rate. This is not calculating for the exponential growth rate of people that want to learn about Bitcoin, get into it, mine it, and so forth. So I think $10,000 is a very conservative number to where I believe Bitcoin can be by 2020. And again, I think it could be double that. It could be easily $20,000 by then, based on the supply and demand and how many people want it. Now, after the halving, just like what happened in 2016, it went up a little bit prior. It had to settle in. People had to realize, we're not making near as much from mining. So it took, a good 5 months for it to go back, well, it took about 4 months, and it slowly went up the entire time frame. But about 4 months in is when we got a nice steady increase. 5 months, 6 months, we got a really nice increase. We broke the $1,000 mark. I think we might even broke gold's price, or right at gold's price. So let's just say 2021. And again, as a conservative number, I think Bitcoin at 2021 at a low point would be easily $20,000. And if there's a high adaptation of Bitcoin and the world is using it left and right with what's going on in Venezuela, China, now India. This could easily be doubled, if not higher. This is a very low ballpark. So I would safely answer your question, Harvey, to say between 20,000 on a low, 40 on a medium, and 60 on a high would be what I would anticipate Bitcoin's value to be in 2020/2021. Well, thank you for watching, guys. I hope I didn't talk your ear off, but this is how I came to the math, and I wanted to show you the video of how I've came up to it and go through it with you guys. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later on. Bye, guys.